much time has passed. I grew a mustache, man.
Dude, fuck. It's beautiful.
It's been a minute since we've last interacted.
Yeah, no.
We hung out, but like since you've last been on the podcast, this is our podcast.
I know. Hey,
but no, don't get me wrong. Like I get what you've been going through in the sense of like you're going through school and all that. Like, catch me up on what you've been up to. I'll do the same for you.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Well, as everybody knows, I went to school in San Francisco. Beautiful.
What? You're still going?
I'm still going to school in San Francisco. You're right.
Newsflash, you dropped out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me. But yeah, I've just been going to school in San Francisco. It's been weird. It was funny. The first week, I think I told you this. First week I get up there, I'm like, yeah, finally had a 4-year university. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get my degree, and then I'm gonna be set. And then the realization set in is that I've spent years talking just mad smack about San Francisco. Right? Like, I am not about San Francisco. I don't like that city.
I've been there enough to know I'm not.
I feel like most people grow up in like the suburbs or
I was gonna say, that's the
we
thing.
don't
It's
fuck
such
with
a
the
big city. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the largest city because San Jose is larger.
Yeah.
But it is a big city. You just gotta find your area. It's the same with college. Like college, oh, you're going to a party school. It doesn't have to be a party school. It's what you make of it, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's always those people like you who are like more outdoorsy, and some people who are just like they want to live in the city. But and some of us just want to chill, bro. We don't want to do none of it.
Even for me, there's still like Pacific Beach in San Francisco area.
Yeah.
I mean, it's colder, so like not my stick. But at the same time, like there's still things for even people like me to do.
Yeah, I like honestly now that I'm here, I've just been like exploring random hobbies.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I bought a magnet fishing set that I'm gonna bring over to Lake Merced.
Oh,
right next to it. I'm gonna see if I can maybe grab my phone out of the river. Out of the lake.
Did you get one?
Yeah, I have my mom's old one. iPhone 7.
Same number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's the same number.
Okay.
It's just my group messages don't work as well.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's 7, dude. They're down to the 13.
They're on the 13 right now. 14?
Yeah, so
I'm like,
you're just on the real back end of it. But I mean, unless you have a phone.
Yeah, and it works. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I can do whatever I want. I actually did crash it the other day because I was playing.
Well, how is it going to catch an iPhone? Or no, even you don't have that.
A Galaxy, yeah. So you mean my magnet?
Yeah.
It's like,
so. Can you magnetize it? I mean, if you do it, you might fuck up it.
Oh no, it's already fucked up. It's been at the bottom of the
that one, but like, have you tried it just to see if it would magnetize to a phone?
No, actually. So the magnet I bought, I went to a Home Depot and I bought like this magnet, and I was like, it's a big ass magnet. I was like, perfect, but like it wasn't picking up anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this magnet's like supposed to be able to hold 150 pounds, so it was weird.
So it's already charged.
Yeah, it's already charged. You buy it from Home Depot free charge.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes you charge. You can make magnets. Charging them up.
Yeah. But
that doesn't mean like plugging them into like a battery source. That's not what I mean by charging. Like literally charging them with electrons.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to the audience. Not.
You're also saying that to me because when you said charge, I was like, you're telling me I just take some wires.
No, how do you think magnets were made?
I never
born into the world.
No. I know they're made. It's just that like I've never taken the time to actually sit down and like Google it. Like I know more about other things than magnets.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like magnets are really important.
They're very interesting. They deal with the concept of electromagnetic forces, right?
Right.
And it's one of the biggest forces in one of the four.
One of the four, yeah.
It's gravity, it's that one, electromagnetic,
right.
Strong nuclear and weak nuclear.
Right, exactly.
The other two are dealt to like a subatomic level.
Right. Yeah.
Particles, like bonds, right? Compound.
Because like after a certain range, they're not there anymore.
Right. And those are said to be, because I think gravity is the weakest of them.
Gravity is the weak? Yeah.
Yeah, gravity is the weakest of the forces.
Right, yes. Yeah, because it's like weak and strong nuclear
forces. Or it's the strongest.
Yeah.
Crazily.
Like, so
it's called a weak nuclear force, and it's the second strongest, if I'm not mistaken.
Because like I know electromagnetic forces have an infinite range, but like that infinite range is correlated to the energy you can put into it.
Yeah.
Right. And then it gets into all the other physics products. But yeah, so I'm starting to do that. I had to buy a new magnet on Amazon because like they say like you need a magnet for like that can hold upwards of 1,000 pounds. Because you're not actually looking for phones at the bottom of the lake. You're looking for like like trash people have thrown into the lake.
Yeah.
So like,
so you're just cleaning up the lake? Is that what it sounds like?
I wanted to try.
That's amazing, dude. Like, that's awesome.
I can't do it, but like I could do this.
No, I mean even the intention, the intention alone is really cool.
Right. I mean, have you seen Lake Merced? It's dirty as fuck. It used to be like this beautiful lake. Like there's even a few rowing teams. It's just dirty.
Well, I'm glad to hear that was like that's one of your hobbies that you're trying to pursue.
Yeah.
Whether it goes through or not, like the fact that came across your mind is pretty cool.
How's raft working out?
My kayak?
Oh, you've been kayaking?
Remember I bought that?
I know you bought it, but I didn't know if you've actually gone out.
I've gone out a few times, but then after I dropped my phone,
you're like,
I was like.
That's why you gotta put it in a patch, or you gotta bring literally a waterproof bag that like you can like.
No.
Yeah, that's floatable.
So check it out, right? Check it out.
Let's hear it.
I went to Hawaii, right?
Oh, how's that?
It was amazing. I've gone 2 times before as a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Where'd you guys go?
Yeah,
we went to Oahu and we stayed in Waikiki. Yeah.
Cool.
No, okay, hear me out, right?
No, don't get me wrong. It's a really...
No, we were just talking about it last week.
I think I was there my last one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is a tour. It is the tourist spot. Like,
right.
That's just what it is. But, like, you don't have to be a tourist there. You know what I mean?
No. I was completely a tourist there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
can see that.
No,
you just see like, the guy from New York wearing, like, all the New York gear.
No, I did. I bought a Hawaiian shirt and I was, like, in cargo shorts all the time.
Would you say he like, messaged you? He's like, what's the first thing that happens when you get to Hawaii?
No, I asked him, what do you usually get when you go to Hawaii? Because I wanted to buy him a souvenir. And he said, get laid.
No, he thought it was a dad joke.
No, yeah.
I read it wrong.
You
went, what do you get when you get off? Because that is a joke. You're like, what do you get when you get off the plane from Hawaii? Lay, because they literally put lays on you. So I literally thought it was a joke you were like telling me.
No,
that was hilarious.
I was like, if anybody,
it's hilarious then now. Now looking back at it, I'm like, oh, because I know we discussed this. We had a dinner on Monday.
Yeah.
I know we discussed this, but. Yeah, maybe, again, I must have been out of the context of it. Because, like, legit, I thought you were just telling... I thought, to be honest, when you said that, I was like, he must be drunk, and he wanted to just tell me this joke he heard.
No! That's what I thought it was.
This is like high thought.
I've been telling everybody for months I have a trip to Hawaii coming up.
I know that.
Right, yeah. So I was asking because if I'm going to get anybody a souvenir, I'm going to get you a souvenir.
Yeah.
I'm going to Hawaii all the time. And then you were, like, late, and so I was like, oh. Haha, alright, looks like no one gets suited.
Yeah. I totally must have misread that.
What if he actually came in today and like gave you a lay?
I actually do have a lay for you.
I think you texted me when I was working too. That's why I was like quick response.
You probably looked at the phone and just like, fuck it.
It was. I was like, I know this. In my head, I went, I know this joke. You get laid.
No, yeah. So like that's why I was like, no, I looked at it, I even went,
yeah.
Guys, look at this bitch. Like it was a perfect response. It was a very nice question, but I was like, wow. But so I went to Hawaii and we went. So I did the second time I went to Hawaii, I went with my mom and we went to this place. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was like literally like off.
Still same island?
No, not even in Waikiki. It was on the big island, and it was off in this like corner of the island, and it had like this like.
Wait, is it
lava reef?
The big island?
What?
Which one's the big island?
They just call it the Big Island.
Yeah.
It's Hawaii, yeah.
So, so they had like a lava rock reef on the hotel, and there was a sea turtle that came in there.
That's the Big Island.
That one right there. So, and so when I went there, it was like literally one hotel, and then for miles it's just flatlands, like nothing.
Yeah.
And so we got a tour guide. He took us around. He showed us all the local spots that people do. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I feel like everyone who goes to Hawaii, who like doesn't go regularly, or even does like once a year, saves a day or two for tourist things.
Right.
Let's go canoeing. Let's go bike down a volcano. I did that.
Right.
Let's go bike down a volcano. We literally went up to see it for sunrise at the top of the volcano, and then we bike down. And of course, you know me, I'm trying to beat everybody.
Right.
I wasn't trying to beat everybody. I just wanted to get down as fast as I can. Time trial kind of thing, I wasn't racing anyways.
Oh yeah.
But we took a wrong turn, so we had to climb back up the volcano. Dude, my legs were dead that day.
Oh yeah. No, check it out. So we didn't get we didn't rent
the volcano. It was in Maui.
Oh, you were in Maui? Oh, is that?
That's my favorite place.
That's the one.
So far.
when we went, it was insane. When we went, Maui had just started becoming active a little bit, and the ash finally had just made it to Oahu, and I had like this huge allergy attack. But it was cool because I had this cool conversation with the Uber driver over it. But so we didn't have a rental car, so I walked everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's what YTT is beautiful for, is that you can.
Right.
You really don't need a rental car.
Exactly. But
unless you're going to like Pearl City or like Pearl Harbor or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, which we also did. So we did a few tourist things, right? We did the Pearl Harbor in the USS Missouri or Oklahoma?
Arizona.
That's
the one that's sunk.
That's the one that's like
most notable.
Right, that's the one with the whole memorial.
They say you can hear you can still hear.
Where you go? You you go on like a little boat thing.
So they take you on a boat.
They take you on a ferry.
Yeah. And then they bring you to this structure that's literally built on top. Yeah.
Yeah, right above it, or right next to it / above it. But because it's huge. The USS Arizona was the biggest ship during World War II for the U.S. Naval Fleet.
Right.
On the Pacific.
Right. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful exhibit. I felt bad.
Again, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Don't quote me on it.
Well, that's fine.
I'm like 50, 60, 70, 80% sure.
No, honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. I was on the thing. It's huge. But so I feel bad because Cassie's grandpa was, so it's me and Cassie's brother, grandma, and grandpa. And
Cassie being your
my fiance. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So I fell asleep during the 23-minute documentary they showed you.
This guy.
And I felt so bad because I was
it's hard though because dude, I was 10 when I saw that. It's just so monotone. You know what I mean? Of course, it's a memorial, so you don't want animated, whoa, this is Pearl Harbor.
Right.
But at the same time, it was just so monotone. It was on this complete opposite scale. They could have had some more emotion built into it. There was just none. It was just, if I remember correctly, it's just absent of any feel.
Oh yeah, because they're trying to get.
They're not trying to portray it. They're not trying to convey any emotion from you based on the video. They're just trying to state fact. Right. If I remember.
Right. But here's the thing though, right? Cassie's grandpa cried.
Oh,
I felt so bad because he's a veteran. So he
her grandma? Her grandpa.
Her grandpa's a veteran, so 9/11 Pearl Harbor really matters to him because he actually had family there.
That was the first event on U.S. soil.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's in the modern day. Let's say that, right? Because there was War of 1812 where the White House burned down, stuff like that. But modern day, that was the first attack on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
And everyone was just, in a sense, if you put your head in that realm, it's not that they failed because you can't prepare for something like that. Right. They didn't prepare for something like that.
Right.
But they did, but at the same time, it was to some degree unexpected.
Yeah.
Right. So how can you prevent something to some degree unexpected?
No, but here's okay. Before I get back to the moral I was trying to get to, I want to say this.
Yeah.
While I was watching a documentary, they did talk about a general there who was in charge and everything, and he told everybody on the base to bring their planes out and just have them lined up on the blacktop, which ended up being a horrible decision because when the planes finally came, they just took them all out, so they couldn't get in the air.
Yeah,
but
so what do you do though? Because they're gonna hit your hangars anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. No matter where the planes were at, they were gonna hunt them down. That's true. Yeah. So in a sense, it wasn't a bad idea because it'd give them the best chance to get planes in the air. You know, right. At least in my eyes. If I was that general, I would have done the same thing.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's be as preemptive as we can. Right. Get planes in the air if we can. And they couldn't because it was just it wasn't a small wave. It was a huge attack.
Yeah. It was genuinely
hit every base we can, hit every plane we can, hit every boat we can, cripple them as much as we can.
And they did. And all tragedy aside, Japan really knew what they were doing in that time.
They did, but they didn't because even their general it was a very famous quote, but they said, "I think we awoken the sleeping giant."
Yeah,
yes, they did.
They did. Yeah, yeah. We did not take that. We were because okay, we're getting off topic. We'll get back to this if we have time afterwards.
Oh, for sure.
Because
let's get back to what you've been up to.
So when I was in Hawaii, we went to this nature reserve. I can't remember the name of it, but it was this coral reef, and you know how terrified I am of the ocean. right?
I think it's is it called a bay? Something bay?
Something Bay, yeah.
Yeah, because I used to me and my brother and my dad went out there once when we were like 10, and we snorkeled out further than anybody.
Right.
To the point where my mom was afraid because she saw us as specks in the water.
Yeah.
That's how far we were. And we were with my dad. He's not careless, but he's carefree in that sense. Like, let's go explore. It was so crystal clear, there's no fear of searching the waters there.
Right.
That's
what fucked me up. Because we bought a snorkel kit. I did a little snorkeling at the beach right next to our hotel.
Yeah.
I got to the point where you see all the dead coral, and I freaked the fuck out because it looked weird to me. I was like, it's already weird for me to have my head underwater breathing through a tube, and now there's like moon rocks and like weird creatures just swimming around. I was like, whoa. So then when we get to the nature reserve, I'm like, okay. There's a lot of sand here. There's a lot more sand here. And then you get to this point and where it's just like dark under the water and you don't know why. And then you dive your head in and you see the crazy like ecosystem that exists under there.
Beautiful.
It's so beautiful. But here's what happened. I want to take pictures. So I was like, let me buy a waterproof disposable camera from the gift shop. Snap, good. They didn't sell those. What they sell? Waterproof phone cases. For $40.
Oh god!
So I bought one. Guess what? Classic little fluid dynamics situation here. When you take a hot piece of metal and you submerge it in cold water, when you get
fog,
fogged up.
Yeah.
So I have like just a
condensation.
Yeah, exactly. So I just have a fuck ton of photos that are just blurry pictures of blue for $40.
I'm surprised your phone didn't get water damage.
Actually, it's insane. The case for it is 2 like really thick Ziploc layers. And then rolled like
like
I was
gonna say,
what's it called? Velcro thing that like you roll it and then you attach it and then it's actually completely waterproof. I like went deep in the water and my phone came out completely fine. But
I think it was my last. No, I forget which. It wasn't Maui. I was in Maui, and we had those like. I bought those expensive, like $150 waterproof phones that like pretty much insure your phones so it'll never have water damage. Yeah. Because I wanted to take it to the water and do the same thing. Right. And it did not survive. Really? Yeah. I got a new phone in return because of the water damage that. But yeah, I was like, oh dude, I got this. Like it was almost brand new of a case. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't have any defect. Right. And I went into the water like 3 or 4 times. Perfectly fine. My last day there, dude, I found this like beautiful area that was like away from the main beach in Lahaina. Right? And I put my phone in. I was just taking like beautiful like pictures. Again, it wasn't like me trying to take underwater pictures, but I like went out, I'd swim out, and then I just pull my phone out and I just like take a picture because like it was just a perfect setting. Yeah. And water got in. And it's salt water. Yeah. Right? So like that's even more like corroding. Yeah. So there's no way of coming back. Like if you drop it in like fresh water, like complete fresh water, there's a chance for it to come back. To salvage it, you just gotta remove. Yeah. You just gotta like put it under light and like make sure like you evaporate the water out of the phone and like make sure the circuits are all good and pretty much just let them dry out kind of sense. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. Like they pulled it apart. They opened up the whole thing, just salt everywhere. Just salt clumps everywhere. Dude. I was so mad. I was like, dude, I bought a $150 case for that same trip. I lost my GoPro. I've lost 2 GoPros in Hawaii, dude. In my last 2 trips to Hawaii,
that makes me bad because we had a GoPro. We were like, should we bring the GoPro? We were like, no, we wouldn't even bring the GoPro. We should have brought the GoPro, but now I'm glad we didn't bring the GoPro. That would have been a struggle. Yeah, maybe it's an old
both on my surfboard, dude. Both on my surfboard. And there were such good videos on there, It sucked, but it is what it was. Yeah.
But other than that, it was pretty chill because I've already told everybody, about I've already said on the podcast about my roommates, who I love, and
everything's still going on okay and good in that regard.
Oh yeah, definitely. I haven't talked to them in like 2 weeks. But like,
he's been gone for one his Thanksgiving break.
You went to Hawaii and now you're on.
Now I'm on break. Right. I'm going back up tonight because I have school tomorrow.
Yeah. So how are classes for you?
Classes? Oh my god, it's actually one class I might have to take credit, no credit.
pass no pass.
Because they haven't graded an assignment in like 2 months.
What the fuck?
Have you been contacting them about?
No,
You gotta do that.
I'm gonna sit there and
It's like pass or no pass is cool because it gives you the credit of like requirement.
Yeah,
but you don't get like
the GPA.
GPA.
Yeah, but like here's the thing, right? Like I have a 95 in physics, and then I have 86 in my lab, and then I think I have a 80,
Physics 1.
Mechanics
or
mechanics.
Okay, so that's
Or is it mechanics? I don't know.
So it goes mechanics, and then it goes electrical. It goes into the realm of electricity and circuits.
The electricity and circuits is my last one. So yeah.
Oh, really? You only have to use 2? Because I think after that it's thermodynamics.
Yeah, no. Computer science only requires you to go up to electrical circuitry. So
I want to chime in one more time.
Yeah.
How I remember with you in physics, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
When I first came back, it was your kryptonite.
Yeah.
And then when you first started at SFSU, you said you're starting to get it. Is that still the case?
I am starting to get it.
Okay.
But like the main reason why I have an A in this class right now is because the teacher doesn't do tests.
No,
she's doing 2 projects and a video presentation. So like my last project, I'm building a paper roller coaster. You take Post-it notes, you build a roller coaster out of it.
And is this where you build the roller coaster and you got to measure like the G-force of it to see if it's a safe roller coaster?
No, I'm measuring the potential and kinetic energy of the marble that travels the path.
For people who don't know, potential energy is the energy. Again, I mean the definition of it is pretty self-explanatory, but literally the potential energy a mechanical device can have.
Right.
And the kinetic energy is the device that's being applied at that given moment.
Exactly. So like, for example, gravity is the easiest example. You take this water bottle, you lift it up. Depending on the mass and the height that the water bottle has to gravity, it has a certain amount of potential energy. Yeah. The moment you let go, all that potential energy turns into kinetic.
Yes.
Because it's moving.
You deal in newtons in that.
Yes.
So really it's just a force equation.
Yeah.
So mass times of its acceleration, and you use gravity as acceleration.
Right.
It gets tricky in the sense of like if you drop it too high, then it has like a terminal velocity.
Right.
And that's a whole different realm. But simplistically, yeah, good, exactly. If I have this water bottle and I drop it, or if I have this water bottle up here, me measuring its drop, that's its potential energy.
Yes.
Wherever it's dropping, like I stop it here, like halfway.
Yeah.
That's its kinetic energy. Is me measuring that specific moment.
Exactly. Yes.
And then it's relative. So like the potential energy of it halfway will be relative to the kinetic, which means like let's say it's 10 at the top.
Right.
And at halfway it's 5. Right. So you have 5 potential energy, 5 kinetic energy in the terms of newtons.
Yep. Exactly. That's exactly what my last project is going to be on. I got an A on my first project, even though I completely botched it.
Wait, how'd you get an A then?
Because I don't know.
So waffles.
It's. I think I
brought the teacher.
I don't think I completely botched it. It's.
You just felt like you didn't do your best or whatever.
No, it's that So I did my first project it's called this. First is see something, second is make something. So for my see something, I took a video of my cat climbing a cat tree. And I was like the work that she has to do in order to climb a cat tree, because work is done on any object that moves using force. Right. So I did all this math and I did all these free body diagrams, stuff like that, and then I ended it, and it was like, boom, here you go. And then about a month later, I was talking to Chris's girlfriend, because she's a physics major.
Oh, okay.
And I was all like...
Who's also at SFSU.
Who's also at SFSU.
Yeah.
Lovely lady. And she helped me out with my See Something project. Mm. So I was like, thank you so much, and for helping me out. Also, just to double check here, every example you'll find on the internet when it comes to the work energy theorem, it's always for an object in the horizontal plane, because it's very hard to do work.
Well, you have so many different forces being applied vertically.
Right, exactly.
Right, you have normal force going upward to combat gravity's force.
Right, exactly. Which is usually why no work is done, because normal force always equals gravity's force.
Right.
So but when you're climbing upwards, all of a sudden you do have work. I wasn't sure about that, but I went with it anyway. And then I did the math to say how much work my cat did. And then after I turned it in, 2 weeks go by, and then I double check everything with Nat. And Nat was like, I guess technically I would have to see everything you were doing. So I didn't know if I actually did my calculations correctly, but then I got it.
The interesting thing that I find from your explanation of that was you chose a variable in that of the cat where you can't have any control.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like with a human, you could be like, do it this way. Right. You can't do that with a cat or an animal.
No.
They just climb it.
Right.
You know, it's even to the point where you can't even, just to some degree, you can't even force the animal to climb the thing.
Oh, and then
you know what I mean?
No.
Like, I felt like you chose a very challenging.
I wanted to go challenging though.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's amazing in that sense. I like people who do that kind of thing because, like I said, you're trying to expand your horizons in that sense.
Right. I was just like, because like usually you know me, like my shtick is, we were allowed to do chapters 1 through 8. So I was like, chapter 2, Newton's laws. Here's what I learned. Cool. Here you go. Bye. Now I didn't like chapter 7.
I know who you are in that sense. You're the guy who goes, you get this project and you go, I'm going to take this to infinity. And then you realize infinity is you'll never reach it. Yeah. So you like start shortening that up. Oh, maybe we'll go to infinity minus 1.
Yeah.
All right, that's still something too far. Maybe infinity minus 10.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened too. I was all like, I'll do the work and then I'll do this and then I'll lead it to this. And then at the end of it, all I had was the work.
Yeah.
Which was fine because I got the A. So that's my school year, basically.
Awesome.
Like, we're almost done. We're in finals week, right? 2 more weeks.
You look at me like I'm in school.
Right.
I don't know when your my finals week is in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Early.
So I got to go through now I just have to go through all my lecture videos, study for the actual only test I'll actually have to take this year. Not a single one of my classes gave me a test this year, and that's why I'm doing so well.
Yeah. As you can tell, I've been still brushing up on my educational stuff.
You have gotten so much smarter since you decided college wasn't your path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to learn what I want to learn.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have to, you have to take this prerequisite. Oh, you have to do all your GEs now. I do the GEs because I like to do the GEs now. I don't do it because I'm forced to now.
Right, exactly.
You know, I've been doing a lot of writing, poetry. I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been doing a lot of still math, physics, STEM stuff. A ton of that. I've been doing a lot of drawing. Things I love to do. But like if I was in a classroom and someone was telling me to do this, I don't want to do it. It's like, I don't know. It's not because they're telling me to do it though. But It's because I'm like, I've already gotten the concept and we're going over the concept for week 4 now. You know, 4 weeks of doing the same concept. Like, let's take it a step up a notch.
Right.
I'm like the opposite of you. I'm like in the void, right? I've been talking about these concepts for the last like few weeks of like void and infinity. Yeah. But like you're like I said, you're infinity and you work backwards. I'm like the void and I'm like, I've already seen, or limits, right? You've done limits in calculus, right? Like I'm like the limit. I'm like, I already see that I can skip past the limit of 4, right? I'll never get to 4, but I can like bridge that gap and be like, it's going to be right here.
Yeah.
Now I can go on to 5.
Yeah.
And everyone's still on like, no, let's keep reaching that limit to 4. And like, dude, now I'm already at 8. And I still have to go to the class and talk about this limit at 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm way ahead in that sense. I'm not trying to say like, I'm way better than everybody or the teacher. But that's just how I work, you know? I'm like, concepts just come really
faster. No, like I was watching, what's that movie with Paul Blart? Here Comes the Boom. Have you seen that one?
I haven't.
It's beautiful. They talk, I'm not going to give you the whole movie, but he has this line, because he's a public school teacher, and he's like, he's lost his group, so he's like, you guys, like he's talking to the teacher, he goes, you don't get it, right? It's the system that's the problem, right? Because you can't speed up for the smarter kids, you can't slow down for the dumber kids.
Everyone's at a constant.
Right, he said it best, it's a numbers game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Push out as many children as you can, and the chances of some of them being successful are up there. But in terms of you, right, you're like, I need to be pushed,
challenged all the time.
You need to be challenged in order to feel motivated, right?
Oh, for sure.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, well, actually, no. In the stat sense, I'm the same. But while you're sprinting ahead, I'm, I'm sitting all the way back, and I'm all like, they're over at the limit 4. Well, I could get to the limit for
Yeah, that's definitely you. You're the one with the binoculars.
Right, like oh shit, look at Steve over there.
You're sitting in your lawn chair waiting. You're like, oh yeah, I see how he got to 4. Let me see how he gets to 5 real quick before I start getting to 1.
Right.
And
then when everybody's just about to cross the finish line, I'm like, here you go. I'm like all the way at the end. I'm like, there you go. I'm here, guys. I made it. Cool.
You're like, if it was like a race of hurdles, you're the guy who like doesn't even jump over.
I'm just run
through them. You're just carrying all of them with you.
Yeah,
you disqualified. I mean, you disqualified the race, but you finished it. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, exactly. Like they have to give me a
time
grade.
doesn't count, but he finished the race. So,
he's like the guy on a relay where you get it, but your team's hella far behind, and he's like, I still got it.
Right? He's like, yeah, I can make it. Here you go.
Well, like I said, in the sense of like, if it took it to hurdles, he's not the one jumping over the hurdles. He's just like, I'm just gonna run.
I'm like efficiency.
It's like I can run so fast, I'll just go through the hurdles.
Right, exactly. So that's that's how my school year is, unfortunately, because like my classes were super easy in the sense of like I have a physics teacher with 300 students.
Yeah.
So she's only teaching. Not even. It's not even online. It's online.
Oh.
And she only teaches 1 day a week.
Oh.
She goes, and for 45 minutes. So here's my 45-minute lecture, and then here are 2 lecture
usually if you have
videos.
1 day a week, it's usually a 4-hour class.
Oh, you know what? It sounds just from what you just said there. It's like what is a hybrid class where like you have 1 lecture sit in and the rest is like on your own time, do it yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, but like it's one video lecture, right? Online, you're there. And then the rest of it is 2 lecture videos and then homework and then your labs. And then you have 1 final at the end of the semester.
Yeah.
So I need to watch all the lecture videos.
Oh my goodness.
And then the same thing for my
man about to be on 2 times speed. Like,
this guy is literally going to be plowing through not even just his hurdles, but someone else's.
Not 2 times speed with the subtitles. He's fucking writing down all the important shit.
No, not all the lecture
videos. He's going to be
but
listening
like
to it in his
definitely
sleep every night.
I mean, no, this is what I'm watching for the next.
That's not a bad idea though.
That's a good way. Yeah.
When you sleep,
right?
I mean, you won't remember, but like when you hear it the second time, it'll be new.
Some people also say like if you study right before you sleep, and the first thing you do is kind of review it, it kind of helps you remember it more too.
Yeah. So like it's not like a big deal to me right though, because in terms of my lab, I'm doing all right, and that one doesn't have a final. Do labs have finals? Do you know? Yeah.
I mean, you have like. In high school, we used to have like lab projects.
I mean, what I remembered in my chemistry class a while ago, we did have a final, but it was like, it wasn't like an experiment. It was just like, it was pretty much a given.
At the end, I have had finals for labs though, but that was for chem. It was for chem. It wasn't for physics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was for chem too. It was like I said, it was like, we went over this lab. What was the takeaway from it?
Oh, no.
But I don't remember. I don't know. Like, again, it could be different. But, like, that's how it was for my last. Because, again, even in physics, I had a lab.
Or you might just have a report, like you do a lab and you just do a report.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing, too. My physics professor for the lab, I love it. He was like, he's not older than 25.
Jesus.
He's a young guy.
Wow.
And this is how he does his lab. You have a 45 minutes.
So you're saying he's our age?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
He's Cassie's age.
Yeah, he's Cassie's age.
Really?
Well, he's super young.
Yeah. I'm just like, wow, good for him kind of thing, Wow.
Like, it was weird, like, I could...
Is he an anime protagonist? That sounds like the premise of an anime protagonist.
He's like One Punch Man, he just got there hella quick.
Yeah.
Dude, no, it's weird. So his name is Corey, right? And when you talk to your other professors, right, you know how they're always like, what's the problem? And then you tell the problem, like, okay, well, this is how we can figure that out. This guy's just super chill. He's like, I literally finished lecture, and I'm in my own. So I had a group for my lab, and then everybody bounced or dropped the class. So I have my own breakout room. It's just me in there. So when lecture is over, I'm like, no, I'm gonna bounce, and I'll just do the lab on my own. He's like, cool, bro.
What are you gonna do in a breakout room by yourself?
No, he could always put me in a different breakout room. He always offers it. I'm just like, no. Because here's what he does. Cool. You do the lecture, and then you have this printout. It's printout with specific questions and graphs and images and like links to simulations and shit. And he goes, do the simulations, answer the problem. Make your predictions, test your predictions, turn it in.
Yeah, you just need a group to just see how you guys have different answers or whatever. Yeah.
But I just trust myself.
This guy.
Anyway,
I've never had a problem trusting myself. It's committing.
that's true.
Yeah, he's never struggled with confidence.
Yeah.
It's just
It's just
it's just a direction, and then like, all right, this is the goal. These are the steps.
right.
He's like
And then
Zoro.
I'm like,
Yeah.
He's like Zoro from One Piece. Like, fucking, I'll cut anything in my way, but I just don't know what's in my way.
Yeah.
I just don't know where I'm going.
Or he's just like, I don't know if I
need
care
an A.
enough.
I need an A. The A is at the center of this class, and I run around the perimeter for like 3 weeks. Yeah.
Still looking. Like you're actually searching, but
Yeah.
you just keep running in circles.
Right. I'm just like, I learned this, then I learned that, but now I'm back to this, and now I don't know what this is. Like, yeah. But so I have an 86 in that class.
yeah.
So I'm doing pretty good. And then in my English class, I pulled some fuck shit, but it worked out. So, because they
Whatever gets the job done.
Yeah.
because we had to do that documentary, right? I learned video editing. It's not that hard.
It's not. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of
It takes
patience.
so much time.
A lot of
It's-
things.
But it's
To
just
get
like
good at things, it just takes patience,
Yeah.
man. You
I
gotta
mean-
know that you're not going to be great at it from the get. But like, if you work at it every bit, you'll get a little better, even if you don't think so. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it happens with me with drawings and even writing. I'm like, man, it's not looking that good. And then you look back. You look back and you went, wow, I actually do see some progression. Great, awesome.
I mean, also,
So maybe that's just my mindset, though. I'm like, that's
No,
never
no,
good
you-
enough
no,
because
no.
I want to be not a perfectionist, but I'm always striving for it.
because you have this image in your brain of like what it would look like in your
Right.
dreams. And then you go for that,
And it just
and,
doesn't come
and
out.
then you meet the first hurdle, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my workaround, so I can still turn it in by the due date. So yeah, it still looked good. Actually, at the end of the day, it still looked good. But I had to swap out, because it's 10 minutes. It was 8 to 10 minutes, and so I had all these clips and video game clips and audio, and it's like perfectly synced up. So it's like you're looking at all these things. It's cool. And then I got to the point where I was just like, okay, I can't just keep bringing in random audio clips for me to talk over because then it's not going to make any sense. So I had to videotape myself.
Mhm.
But I had all these other images that were supposed to happen. So I talked about Link, Zelda, Mario, little people, right?
Yeah.
Zelda and Link specifically because, again, Zelda's the princess who gets captured all the time.
And Link's just the knight.
Link's just a knight. So that worked out really well. But when I went to go turn it in, my laptop couldn't download the 8-minute video.
That's always the problem with hardware.
Yep.
Always that.
Right? Oh, and I tell my dad's like, lies. She's lies. That's an
Yeah.
amazing laptop. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I run into that problem. That's why I'm trying to get a PC now.
Yeah,
Because
exporting
I
shit
keep
is
running into
ass.
so many issues on my laptop that are like, it's not issues that normal people have. It's like, I'm trying to make I'm doing music now too, right? I'm mixing songs and stuff. I'm like, my laptop it can keep up, but like, with a PC, I just have so much more room for like exploration and so much more room to experiment and do things that I
Just
can't
more
do on a
efficient,
laptop.
too.
Yeah, just exactly, dude.
yeah, no, like that's what ended up happening. So I'm like downloading nothing. It's like
Yeah.
it made it to phase 2, right, which is the slicing, and then it would just freeze, and it would stay there for hours. And then when I would come back to it in the morning, it'd just be like couldn't do it. But then I had to go to Hawaii, so I had a Kapwing. You know what Kapwing is? It's like this video. It's an online video editor. It was like $20,
Oh yeah.
but like it was perfect for my level.
Yeah,
of
of course.
skill and
Of course.
like what I needed to do. So I made it public, sent a link. I sent him the link before I leave for Hawaii.
Mm.
And on the second to last day I'm in Hawaii, I finally get an email that says, yeah, I couldn't open your video. I was like, great. So then, but he was like, so email to me when he knew I was in Hawaii. So he was like, email to me when you get the chance. I get home.
You know
Here's-
what you should have
here's-
done? I just thought of this now. You know what you should have done or could have done? Is just screen recorded it.
No,
Play it on your own computer, screen record that, and then send that. You know what I mean?
no, you're right.
It just came.
Here's what I could have done though. I was at Cassie's house, or I was at my house for the day before we leave to Hawaii, the due date of this project. My PC was just in the closet.
Mhm.
The only problem was it wasn't plugged in. I could have easily plugged it in. So when I got home, I do all that. I get a extension cord that like I just didn't feel like unplugging, but I did it.
Yeah.
Because the Wi-Fi is plugged into it, so I had to wait for it to reset.
Yeah.
So I was like, I get it, I plug everything in, I move everything so it works. And then literally 30 seconds on my PC, videos downloaded,
Yeah,
email
yeah.
sent, done. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna get it. It's not gonna get turned in late or anything because I technically did turn it all the time. But like,
but you actually turned in like a complete copy.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I did in my English class. Other than that, I'm doing great in school this year, and it sucks because next year I have to go back to regular classes. You know, like
full day.
Yeah, but you're on campus, dude. It's such a different vibe.
No, but
I
I mean,
you
like,
don't have to drive there all the time. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys still hybrid or you guys in person?
We're next semester. I don't know. We've been having a lot of COVID tests, so it depends on like what our COVID infection rate to student body ratio is. Because if it's still pretty high, then they're going to continue hybrid classes.
Yeah.
But if it's low, then because we already have some on campus.
Yeah, you still have some on campus.
Right. Yeah. But like, you know.
Not to cut you off, but let's switch gears into our topic for today.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me what you were at.
Oh yeah. Let me recap then. So yeah, I think I brushed in a little bit on it. I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of drawing, a lot of basketball. I've been climbing a lot too, dude. I've been getting so much better at climbing. Like I'm at my peak.
Yeah, but I can do it.
I'm at my best right now in climbing. Like even when I first started and I was crushing it. Like I'm going even beyond, and it's at a different level. Like back then, I was like doing it to the point where my body would break down. Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, I have to take like months at a time off because my elbows are like, I'm just getting so much tension in like because you're doing a lot of squeezing, so you work out like your inner elbow, and you'll just get so much pain there. Yeah. So like the mindset's different in the sense of like it's almost like a Zen thing now. Like I look at it as like differently. I don't look at it as like a form of recreational exercise. It's more of like solving puzzles. And then for me, it translates into life. Because I'm like, oh, dude, like, if I can climb this obstacle where I'm like, I literally have to turn sideways, or I literally have to go into positions I'm so uncomfortable with. Yeah, I have to do that to get to the top. Right. And I'm like, wow, that's like, there's so much life-taking like lessons out of that alone. Yeah, but I've been doing a lot of drawing. I've been trying to get into music, but I do need the PC for it just because trying to make it work on a laptop is just such a pain in the balls. Unless you have like one of those high-end laptops that are like $1,000. Well, like I'm like, it's like okay, I can get a mouse and then I make it easier to scroll, and I can get like my keyboard, I'm like crunched over my laptop, like your arms are like this. Yeah, I don't mind going out because I like to go out to either to a park or even to a cafe and work there too because it's just different mindset and it just gets me into a different feel. So. My laptop is useful for that because it can still power up what I need to power up to. But yeah, I've been doing that. What else? I've been working a lot. But at the same time, I love what I do right now. It's amazing. I've been close to getting promoted. I think I'm gonna start DoorDash. Yeah, it's a good gig. I did it. Yeah. I did Postmates. I did it on my motorcycle. Yeah, I'm doing it just for like some side cash. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's exactly what it's for. Yeah, like a few quick bucks just to like pay for like. Either like for leisure if you already have money, or like if you need food, it helps you to get food. And then you find out new places too, so that's cool. Yeah. What else have we been up to? We just played basketball, dude. My body is tired from it. It was intense. Like
Played like
didn't it feel very different? Like I know you've been playing for like a month.
Yeah, I know. Even Joe texted me. He was like, "Bro, this is the most physical games we played in a while." What the fuck?
I don't know. There's just been like a huge like dynamic change since like we last saw each other in the last month, or even much like since school started for you. There's just been such a huge like when we were both in the shits in school like a year ago. Yeah. Man, it was just such a there was just like this morbidity around us. You know. No, yeah. And now there's like such clarity and like the aura around us is just so. Zen. Like that's the only word I could say. It's just like very yin yang. You know what I mean? Like you see the bad, but like at the same time, like there's so much good around. No, and we'll talk about this when we get into the main topic. Like, of course. Yeah. But yeah, just been working at the bar a lot, which is a lot of fun for me. Been running into some incidents. Been hanging out with a lot of my coworkers and a lot of friends that I made out there. That's good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. No, in that sense, in that regard, like I could go into it for days, and we will another topic or another podcast. But let's get into our main topic for today, right? Which is, we don't have a specific like set like premise, but like let's just go into like Thanksgiving, what that means, or like just that whole realm of Thanksgiving and being thankful, right? Because that's the whole idea of Thanksgiving.
Right.
You know.
I mean, okay. If we're going, I have complicated feelings about Thanksgiving.
Well, let me explain it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let me recap this too. So we went to dinner on Monday. I hadn't seen you for like a good minute.
Yeah.
Right? And like you could tell that there was like a change in the air, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It felt so different. Everything just felt. I don't want to say like all positive because no such thing.
Right.
Right.
But like definitely some strong moves in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Like
of course.
you could
And
feel
maybe
it.
even if like, yeah, definitely. Even if like there's feels like it's like no one's moving.
Right.
Right. Because you're going to school still.
Right.
And I'm still doing what I'm doing.
And you're learning.
But at the same time, like the mindset has been moving in the right direction, and the progress of that has been going just swimmingly. You know, like just very fluid.
Yeah.
And like it really became apparent how thankful like I am for everything I've gone through. You know, in the past, dude.
Yeah.
I've been listening to like a lot of Alan Watts, who is like he was a philosopher, like a more modern philosopher. But really, only what he was known for is he went to a lot of East Asian countries and to learn their religions and their cultures, and then he'd bring it back to America to teach and the Western hemisphere or Western culture, and kind of just go like, hey, like it's not that you guys are wrong. That's not the case at all. But like, here's a new perspective on things.
Yeah,
it's a really beautiful one.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of diving into that a little bit in that sense. Like, I mean, I've always been fascinated by those things, but like. Fully, I'm not like a practitioner, and I'm not like doing Zen Buddhism everywhere or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like understanding what it brings it to a level where it's like, you know, what you're doing isn't wrong, or what you're doing isn't incorrect. Everything is necessary in a sense.
Yeah.
Right? And regretting your past shouldn't be the case, because where would you be now? You know,
Exactly.
who would you be now?
No, yeah. Because you know this. A couple of years ago, I took a class where I learned a lot about Buddhism and like Eastern religious concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like this amazing, and I mean this, like amazing concept where like they just kind of come out and they're like, life isn't about being the best, happiest, brightest person 100% of the time. Like Christianity tries to teach you that. Follow these rules and you'll be blessed by God forever.
Well,
No,
Christianity. Well, we should do another topic on that alone. I could go days on end about those two.
And you will convince me of several things because you are very deep into Christianity because of your family, I believe. Right?
I'm just deep in like all religions because there's so much truth in all of them, and there's so many misconceptions about a lot of them. You know, so I mean, I was always fascinated by it because that's one of the core principles for a good amount of people. Right. Like when people ask you, like, what's your denominator? Like, what are you? A lot of people go, they bring it to, oh, I'm Christian. Oh, I'm Catholic. Oh, I'm Buddhist. Oh, I'm Sikh. Oh, I'm Muslim. I'm Jewish. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But at the same time, like, that's an identity, right? That's an ego, and not in a bad way, but like that's what an ego is like your identity. Right. So like in that sense, like, it's big enough for you to want and to, you know, greet people with. You know, oh, I am a Christian. You know, people say it all the time. You know, I'm a Christian. Like, I'm a good person. I try to be a Christian every day. Blah blah blah.
Right. All those things.
So,
but at least Buddhism specifically, they teach that suffering is inevitable, but it's how you react to that suffering.
Oh, for sure.
That's the most important.
And that's the similarity with Christianity in that sense, because again, they have that same premise that you're born into suffering.
Right.
And like once you finish that suffering, then you'll be sent to heaven, or and in Buddhism it's an enlightenment, right? Or you may reach enlightenment. And that's the funny thing is you might not, even after all this, even after this roll of life, you may not, even though you suffered, because you didn't suffer not the correct way, but the correct way for you.
Exactly.
Because everybody's suffering is different.
Yeah.
And that's the problem not in this world, but that I see sometimes is people compare their sufferings to each other. And they go, oh, I'm suffering more than you. And why are you doing better?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, no, everybody has their own world, right? You guys walk out of here today, you guys aren't in my world anymore, right? I still think about y'all, and I still love you guys, and I still know you guys exist, and you guys are doing your thing, but in that sense, technically, you guys aren't in my world anymore.
Yeah.
Right? In that sense of physical.
Yeah.
Right. My eyes can't see you. You guys aren't in my world.
Right. Like you can't immediately affect our lives.
Right.
Once we're gone from here.
Right.
We're still together, emotionally, maybe mentally, but like.
Oh, there's many different ways of how you can say we're connected, for sure.
Right. Okay. Well, so continue with what you were saying.
Oh, yeah. So, like, I mean, dude, even with Austin, right? Our friend Austin, I haven't seen him since our hike. That was wild.
Yeah.
Like, that was like before you started school.
Yeah.
And even him, he's been on, like, it just seems like we're all, our group, our friend group, which has been a great niche. And even though we don't see each other often, like, everyone seems to be going in this positive light. And by positive, again, I don't mean like happy-go-lucky all the time, like never have a bad moment. I have bad moments all the time, don't get me wrong.
But just like...
It's like, as you said, it's how you handle it, it's how you react to it. It's how you, almost in a sense, control it because you're controlling yourself, right?
Yeah.
And just also from like a perspective of looking back, you can just see how far you've come versus like in previous years and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say it. And in the last, and this is true, like the last few holidays of the past years hasn't felt holiday-ish in the sense of like, it didn't feel like what it was supposed to mean to me. You know what I mean? Like Christmas and Thanksgiving used to be such a family-oriented, loving, like beautiful, but I never felt thankful in the sense I had to like be like, I am thankful. I just was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, wow, I am very thankful. No, like I hung out with my family and that was my thanks.
Yeah.
I got to spend time with them, get to catch up with them, and get to, envelop myself around their love, and that was the thanks.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's less the case, but really, like I got to see them all, and I was like, wow, I genuinely I had that literal epiphany, like outward spoken, like I am very thankful. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Literally, I spent like a few days. I spent the day before, a couple days before Thanksgiving. I went, and I told you about this because I went out to the beach. And I literally just surrounded myself in like silence, or like that thematic idea of silence. Right. And like in that, I was like, wow, like this earth is beautiful. I am very thankful to be on it. I am very thankful to be able to have met all the good people in life and all the people that aren't necessarily good for me in that sense. Yeah. But they made me, in my eyes, good. Because I like to think I'm a good person, right? But again, I could never know until it's not an assurance thing from anybody else. It's just a thing of like, when do I think I'm good enough? And it's very contradicting or paradoxical because I don't ever think I'm going to be good enough in the sense of like, from my standard, because my standard will always keep increasing. Right. I hit that level and it's like, all right, time to start level 2. Right. Time to reach level 70. I'm only at level 16 now. Or I'm just throwing random numbers out, right? But I'm at level blah, blah, blah. And I want to hit the next level because I want to just keep progressing. So like there is that sense of like, I am happy. And it's like, I'm not happy because there's the next level. I'm not happy because there's another level I can reach. I'm just like, wow, now I'm thankful I can progress to that next level. Same in climbing, right? Yeah. It's like, I took a break from it and I was hitting on bouldering, there's a level grades of V0s to up to V like 12 say, in certain gyms. And I was like getting frustrated at V3s and I was like, oh. And now I'm climbing again, I'm hitting like 5s and 6s. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, like it's just like,
look at you go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow. And I'll never be satisfied in the sense of like, I want to hit these 7s. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's the goal now. And I'm not upset I can't now, but at the same time, I'm working towards it. And I'm just thankful that the progress is there. Right.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you because, like, I was laying in bed the other day, I was just thinking, right? Because, like, I'm still battling with a lot of my panic attacks that I'll just randomly get sometimes. Mm-hmm. And the other night, it was, like, right after Thanksgiving, I had just actually gone to my dad's and everything. Yeah. And I was just thinking, I'm so thankful that, like, for what I've actually got to experience this year. Because, like, before this, right, when I was at De Anza, like, my panic attacks were never met in the same way. Like, I would have a panic attack and it just spiral. Yeah. Until Cassie would eventually show up and be like, shake me out of it and be like, you can't be here right now. You have shit that just needs your attention right now. Yeah. Focus on that, see what happens with that, and then decide how and then think about how you feel after you get what is currently bothering you out of your way.
Oh, of course.
And so now that after I went to Thanksgiving with my dad, I was just I'm thankful because like huge changes have come. Now like school isn't what it once was. Now I'm at Deanza not Deanza, SFSU.
Yeah.
Right? When I have a panic attack, it's a lot easier for me to just kind of sit down and go like, well, hey, you messed up this time. You didn't do it. You just dropped the ball. But like overall,
it seems like you have less downtime in the sense of like it took you a lot to get out of it, and now you're like, again, this is just from what I'm perspective of you. It just seems like you're able to comprehend what's going on.
Yeah.
And you still, like, again, for me, in those senses, I always like to dive into it because I need to understand before I can step forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like it takes you less time to do that now.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's what I'm saying, right? Like now I can have these anxiety attacks and I can freak out, but I can go ahead and I can step back and go ahead and be like, but you're not failing.
Yeah.
Right. At the end, it used to be I failed, and then it would be all right. That's it. I'm a homeless person that like with no money for the rest of my life.
That's the beautiful thing is failure always teaches a lesson if you're willing to learn.
Right.
People take failure sometimes so drastically, and it's like, yeah, but dude, you still are living. You're still breathing. That means you still have a purpose here.
Right. Still got.
And that's not like that's not tying it to any religion or culture or philosophy or anything like that. But like.
No, it's straight facts.
Genuinely. Like, you're still breathing, which means you still got chances to turn around whatever failure you think you failed.
Like, that us as beings, right? We cannot be kept in one position for as long as we can.
No, that's entropy.
Yeah, exactly.
Entropy too long creates chaos.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the definition of entropy.
It's pretty much just like, entropy is the idea of stillness. Like if you observe something, if you observe something in stillness, then like over time it's not going to be right because molecules, atoms. If we take it to the physics realm,
I get it. Yeah,
they're always vibrating.
Yeah.
So if you get something in complete stillness, it's still vibrating, just at such a slow rate.
Right.
But in the entropy is like if we keep that thing as still as we can for as long as we can, eventually it'll just start creating chaos because it'll just start vibrating faster and faster.
No, you're
thus breaking that cycle of like that stillness.
Yeah.
So now it's in a chaotic state because we had no idea that was going to happen. We thought I just do my own learning.
Right, but like I want to read whatever you read.
I'll show you some links and stuff.
Yeah, send me some links. I'm always down. I've read.
What's funny is I learned this through like what I like to watch or read in my leisure, which is like comics. They'll like touch up on the concept and then I'll dive straight into it. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't know it, but I'm like, wow, how did they bring this into a creative aspect?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me learn this concept. So not just and almost in a sense, like, does it make sense in this realm of this comic book? Right?
Yeah.
Where it was in DC, in the DC universe, and I was like, wow, this is amazing in the sense of like they're able to tie in such complicated and such sophisticated ideas, and it actually makes sense to a degree, at least on a simple level.
Right.
You know,
on that level, yeah.
It's like they literally just personify things that are like unfathomable to a lot of people.
Right. And
it makes it easier for people to be like, wow, I can understand it because like, imagine this human as an entropic concept, or like the Flash is literally the polar opposite, right? So they deal with like the speed force, which is literally just vibration.
Yeah. And
they deal with the still force, which is entropy.
Yeah.
And they went to like a concept of like, what if they met? What would happen? And then, like I said, I get into the geek nerd mode and I go, I need to brush up on this enough to be really, really enthralled in what I'm reading.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I love reading. I love to get the meaning of what I'm reading out of it.
Right. Okay, but yeah. So like, yeah.
Okay, let's dive into, we'll get back on this one, but like, it's really interesting how Thanksgiving came to be, and some certain holidays. Like again, during Christmas time, we'll touch up on the whole misconception of how Christmas became a thing and Jesus' birthday. And that's not really the case because originally it was a pagan holiday.
I saw a funny TikTok about how like they related the Christianity, at least Jesus' side of the Bible, to astronomy. It was like
again, they made Christmas into a Christian holiday, but prior to that, it was a pagan holiday.
exactly. Yeah.
But we're not talking about Christmas. We'll do that in the coming month because that'll be Christmas time.
Right.
But for Thanksgiving, same thing. It was like the story and the gist of it was like the Pilgrims had met up with the Indians, and instead of them going to war, they actually had a feast together, and it was really nice. And then like the back end of it was like, oh, and then the Pilgrims were going to betray the Indians, and then hell broke loose kind of thing.
Right.
But like it's so funny how that became the premise for a day of giving thanks, right? And in a sense, there was a lot of thanks to give there from both sides, right? Because there was a lot of trade of culture, a lot of trade of ideas, and just a lot of like it literally was like, okay, we are two unknowns meeting each other. Like, what's going to happen? Are we going to fight and go to war right now because technically we're like impeding on your territory,
right?
Or we don't even know that this is your territory, so we're impeding on this land that you claimed, and we want to claim it too. And instead of fighting for it, they went, let's just have a meal together first. And then, I mean, of course, there's always some ugliness into it. If you look deeper into the history of it, there's a lot of ugliness behind there.
There is so much, but at
the same time, like look at it at that perspective, and you're like, wow, like that's amazing. Like how can two strangers, like let's just bring it to individual. How can two strangers who don't know each other, both claiming the same item, be like, you know what? Let's just sit and have a good day. Let's just have a good meal together.
Right. That's the beauty of Thanksgiving. It's like because you always see these people on like the internet that are like, oh, now I gotta do with my family, or all I gotta do. It's like, come on.
So are you dealing with them now? You know what I mean? Like, why do you have to think of it that way? Like, be thankful that you have a family. Because some people don't.
No, because I'm not like you in the sense of you have your family here, right? So when
actually, they're all starting to split apart in the sense of like not connection wise, but like now they're moving to Vegas and Arizona, and they're all branching out. I have family in Hawaii now, you know. Like, but we all come together because we love each other that much,
right?
You know, we're just that much. It's just so much thanks to give to everybody in our family that we do all want to convene to this one spot and just spend time with each other. You know,
my family just doesn't have that.
Yeah,
my mom. I felt bad. She spent Thanksgiving alone this year because she couldn't. So my dad was like, so this is the first year they have ever invited, the first year since senior year, I believe, that they invited Cassie to Thanksgiving. Senior year of high school, right? That was the first year my dad invited Cassie to Thanksgiving. And at that point, he also went, hey, Toya, if you're okay with this, I think it's time we all finally just come together with the family for Thanksgiving. Kendall and his fiance, you come over because we are at the end of the day family. And my mom was like, nope, I'm not going where your wife is because she gets jealous. I don't want to start that. And I was like, fair, but I think, the last time they started it years ago. But I'm not going to anyway. But so she was like, no, I'm good. And I went over to Dad's and I was just like, wow. I haven't actually gone to my dad's house for Thanksgiving in years.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was me, Trudy, Bria, Mom, and then either sometimes my grandma or some other people, right? Mm-hmm. Dinner, movie, done.
Yeah.
But my mom went on strike a couple of years ago. She never got back. Mm-hmm. She was like, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you it's interesting to hear you talk about how your family kind of can just, come together.
We put everything aside. Usually there's nothing.
Right.
But if there is, we always put it aside because it's a day of giving thanks. Like, people always have that conception of Thanksgiving as, oh, it's a day we just eat hella food. You know what I mean? That's always everyone's thought. Like, oh, dude, I can't wait. We're going to have a big-ass feast. But for me now, it's less that and more, it's a day to be just in the presence of people you're thankful for, people you're thankful of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Or even and it doesn't even have to be the day, because I didn't spend it with my dad completely. But I said Thanksgiving. I said Happy Thanksgiving to him. I was like, you know what? We're going to have our own Thanksgiving on another day with our family, with this side of the family.
Right. Yeah.
Because Thanksgiving doesn't have to be one day. I give thanks all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's annoying that we have to designate a day where people should be thankful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you should just be thankful all the time, and your life will be a lot better. At least for me, it is. Right? I can't speak on everybody's behalf, but for my own, the more I'm thankful, the more life is just that much nice. For me.
100%. No, same here. I got the same results. I was like just happy. Like if you just put out how thankful you are to have people in your life, those people want to stay.
And not even just. I mean, that's a big one. But like even in events or situations, right? You get someone who just like cuts you off. Like instead of being like, what a fucking asshole that driver was, you know, and road rage or like internally or like get fucking ballistic. Instead of that, be thankful he didn't hit you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that was a dick move. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say don't not see the negative of it, right? To do a portrait, you need the negative space and the positive space.
Exactly.
There's the negative space there, but at the same time, he didn't hit you. So be thankful that you didn't lose time having to go through this accident report and having to exchange insurance stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just be thankful that we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be thankful that you're still driving. Be thankful that you're still getting to where you need to go. You know? Be thankful that you're still breathing if you're thankful for that, right?
Yeah.
I'm don't get me wrong. I had those thoughts. I've been through that depressive phase where I'm like, damn, am I really thankful for breathing? You know what I mean? Am I really thankful for being brought into this world?
It's like, do I
We've had those conversations.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know?
I've been there where I'm like, another day,
and now I don't even question it because like it becomes a thing of like I go to bed, right? And this is my thoughts on dreams, and we talked about this I think on a past podcast. But like for me, the way I see it is dreamland is your imagination. Mm-hmm. So as deeply as you can imagine, right? And you know me, I know a lot of big, crazy concepts, and I could take it a step further. I could jump out of that realm of the laws of physics or the laws of this physical world, right? Mm-hmm. Your imagination runs wild. It can, right? So why does my conscious always come back to this body? Right? Why doesn't it just get lost in dreamland? Right? No, it's because there's something here for me. Right. There's something I need to do, but there's something that's calling for me. And I want to answer that call.
That really scares me when I think about that, right? Because I've heard of that concept before, and it freaks me out.
I think it's beautiful. Because when you wake up and you're in your same body, like I'm just thankful. I'm like, oh wow. No, don't get me. You know, I know.
I mean, it freaks me out because it's like, what if one day, right?
You wake up in a different body?
No, like let's say you find the thing you're meant to do or have in this life.
This is just one thing, though.
Or let's say you find everything. Let's say you like if we have purpose in this world, you fulfill that purpose, and you go to bed. What happens the next day? What if like my fear is if I actually fulfill my purpose, do I get to then decide I want to live the rest of my natural life, or does whoever gave me this purpose go ahead and say,
like does the Matrix be like, you're done?
Right, like the Matrix be like, thank you.
Let's put it in these terms, right? Let's put it in these terms. You know, you see a lot of athletes or a lot of professionals or whatever, like a lot of people who are striving for something. They always make it such a specific goal. I want to make it to the NBA. I want to make it to the NFL. I want to become the writer of SNL, whatever the case may be. Right? Once you get there, you always see them kind of fall off a bit. Those people who have that mindset, because they got what they wanted, and you know what's next. I'm here. I made it. Cool. The people. I mean, like for me, I don't ever see it that way. In that sense, I never was like, I want to make it to that moment. I just told myself, I want to be a good soccer player. What does that mean to me? What does it mean to be a good soccer player? It doesn't mean I'm better than other players. It just means I'm getting better every day.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm not, then that just means it was either not my day, or you know what I mean. Like I don't tunnel vision, narrow-mindedly look at things. If we're allowed to pick our purpose, if we're allowed to decide what our calling, vocational, practice is, right? At the same time, like why would you make it so finite? You know what I mean? Why would you make it so narrow-minded? Make it like very broad and just try and keep on working, chipping away at it. I know these flies are annoying. All the Thanksgiving food, they're coming after it.
That's fair. No, you're right there, but like you get what I'm saying.
Don't get me
right?
wrong,
like the fear of just dying because you did it, everything you ever hoped to have.
You do it in your dreams all the time. Yeah. You could imagine becoming an NFL player. You could imagine becoming an NBA player.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you wake up in this body and you want to put it to the test to see if it can happen. Right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What I'm saying is you go into dreamland, right? And half the time you don't remember most of your dreams because either they happen, there's so many of them, or there's just so many concepts that you're dealing with, or whatever is in your dream space, it's in your imagination. It's within your mind, right? Your mind escapes your body and it can do whatever it wants. But it comes back to the body.
Right, yeah.
Meaning it wants to fulfill something within this body, right? And in that realm of things like that, who's to say you can't? Or why are you coming back to this body? You can literally experience, again, in your dreams, which the mind experiences everything in that sense, right? That's still experience. Why does it come back? Oh, is it because that wasn't the purpose? I think it experienced, again, this is just very, very personal, and this is a very opinionated idea, right? But I just think that if it does go through every possibility of whatever you want to dream of, right? Anything. You could dream yourself of being a female,
right?
And you're a man.
Right.
You can imagine being the king of the world. You could imagine yourself being a god. You can imagine yourself being beyond a god level entity.
I know.
You know
I was Homer Simpson in a dream once.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But it comes back, in that sense of there's something more here that needs to be fulfilled, but subconsciously, at a certain degree, you want to fulfill, and then it becomes necessity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh man, I could imagine myself winning American Ninja Warrior. All right, well that's cool. I've experienced it now. See, I know what I would think about doing if I won. Yeah. But at the same time, the body comes back.
Right.
The body comes back. And there's something else here for me. It's not just becoming the American Ninja Warrior. It's not just becoming something else. I mean, that's just it for me. Maybe that's why I am the way I am. I'm okay with that because I love who I am.
No, you're an amazing person. And personally, I could say this. I could say this because I believe it. You're an amazing person.
Well, I surround myself by amazing people.
Oh,
wow. Well, for sure.
He'd be so nice.
You said nice, I said amazing.
Nice, amazing, all things considered.
Because I have friends who aren't as nice. We have one sitting next to us. It's not
an insult.
I know. No, it's not an insult at all.
We love this guy.
We know.
Yeah.
That he's just real. That's it. He's just real with people.
Yeah.
And people don't take that as nicety. Right? I do because I know the intention he has behind it.
Right.
Right. But sometimes they don't, so they don't think it's nice. But
I
see that.
Was confused at one point.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is sometimes he just doesn't get it across a way that the person he's talking to can completely fully grasp in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because let's be, we all speak different languages.
Yeah.
It's all in the realm of English. Here's the umbrella of English.
Right.
But we all speak different kinds of English.
Yeah.
I say for sure a lot, and that became a thing you guys started picking up.
Exactly.
People say bet. I picked that up. I say low key a lot. People started picking that up. Right. We start learning each other's own languages. So in a sense, he just runs into language barriers sometimes. You know what I mean?
I don't know. This motherfucker gave me a whole ass week to just sit on my own demise as he goes ahead and says, I need to talk to you on Friday. Friday comes. I'm just worried about you, bro. I'm just worried about you. Good. Sit that over.
But that's the language barrier, right? Because even over text, if you know the person well enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and the text is very diluted, too. Because, it's hard to get the context of things, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time.
And to be fair, there was no way he was going to be able to have that conversation with me unless he was like, I need to see you in person.
No, yeah. And at the same time, if you know a person well enough, you can kind of you can hear their voice through their text. And you can kind of understand what they're already portraying through their text. So it's not a realm of question. You know what I mean? Again, and that's not always the case because text loses some context to it,
yes.
Right? Because you see a lot of nonverbals that are missed out through messages.
Right. And
emojis have touched up and have covered that a little bit, just a tad bit.
Sort of, yeah.
It's not gonna be perfect, but in the same thing, it helps a bit, right? Like I'm like, I hope you have a great day, and then I can sound like the devil frowny face,
Right.
and like, oh, he really hates me, or like, damn, he's really spiteful.
Or somebody else would be like, he gets me so well.
Yeah. But yeah, man, being thankful is just it's not hard.
It's not.
It really isn't.
Really,
you can have
really isn't.
you can have a terrible life, and you can still be thankful, right?
Right. It's the outlook you need to have on things, right?
Oh, 100%.
Everything that happens to you, some of it's gonna suck. That's
a lot of it will suck, dude.
Yeah, a lot of it will.
A lot of cultures believe that you suffer, or you will, or you have, or you have in a past life perhaps.
Right.
Right. Suffering is inevitable. It's just how you handle it, right?
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to get into it's not that I don't, but it just always ties into it. But like the Buddha, right? Siddhartha.
Yeah.
He got the name of Buddha. He literally sat under a tree for multiple years in silence, right? In his own world. And let's say it wasn't silence, right? And it wasn't forever. He wasn't just like a stone statue just sitting there. He lived a life, but at the same time, he reached enlightenment under the tree. That was the whole premise, right? And that was the thing. It was his outlook. Because he didn't see pure light, right? Because you're blind. Literally, you're blind if you see pure light. That's why. Right. That's why your pupils are black. You know what I mean? It allows light to enter, and then it works as like almost like a mirror in a sense, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But for him, he saw both of it and chose to see the better part. You know what I mean?
You got three just swarming.
I know.
See,
the flies love me.
I just.
But that's the way I'm looking at stuff like that too, right? I could be like, God damn, this fly is annoying. Like, maybe the fly just really loves me a lot, and it's just showing me its affection.
Right.
You know, there's so many ways you could look at the world, right? And until someone explicitly lets you know their way that they're trying to portray it to you, like people will give me shit all the time, you know, and like they'll give me either like the shit where it's like a joke, or they'll literally give me shit. Right. And either way, I'm gonna take it the way I want to. Oh, dude, you're so good at that. Thank you very much. I think so too. Right? So, your insult just became a compliment to me because I took it that way. You know? I don't know.
It's like, no, because I hear what you're saying, and what you're saying is a lesson that took me a very long time to learn. It's not something you can simply just listen over and be like.
But that's the thing is, you can't take it from me either. You have to experience it. You know what I mean? Like, I could speak these words all day long, and I could literally feed them to you. But at the same time, you'll never grasp it until you grasp it yourself.
Right.
You know, until you dive into there. Right. I can't dive into that depth for you. I can't dive into the abyss for you.
No.
You have to make that dive yourself.
It's hard. And it's hard for a lot of people to make that dive. Especially like, come on, like for me, right? Like when I had to come to terms with who I was as a person and my actions in this life, it was not a fun little like, let's look at me as a whole. No, it was not. It was horrible. And I learned a lot about myself, and I'm still learning a lot about myself now.
Me too. Don't get me wrong. I'm always learning. Right. I love to learn. If I can learn about myself a little more each day, it's a beautiful day.
Right. No, like like if I can learn something new about myself, awesome to know. But like it's, what was I going with this? Oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, you learn about yourself, and from those lessons, you can decide how you want to change. Right? Because like for a long time, right? Because you guys know I'm a stoner, right? I'm solid. But I learned where the line between a productive stoner, someone who likes weed but also wants to be a decent person in this world, and someone who likes weed more than everything else. And where that line,
your argument right now, but I'll save it.
Keep
going. No, it's not a bad attack.
Okay.
Keep going. I have a story in my head now.
But so like, I had to learn that, and now I understand it's like when you have work to do, or when you have free time, and maybe you do have a free time, nothing you have to do in the world, but you understand that you could be doing something better with your time sober than you pick the sober route. That took me a long time to learn, because I was like, I can do everything high except drive.
Well, and that's the beauty of it, in the sense of like a lot of like gurus, right? They call them gurus in like the Eastern cultures. A lot of gurus, right? And they didn't choose that, or shamans. They didn't choose their profession, right? Unlike like priests in Catholicism where you choose to be a priest. No, they didn't choose it. The people of their community chose them to be that, right? So a lot of them, they have vices all day long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, this is like, for me, I have a vice. This could be considered a vice.
Right.
Right, but it keeps me grounded to this world in a sense.
Yes.
So it's that same realm. But let me tell you where I was like saying attacking your argument.
Yeah.
But you said decent human being.
Well,
like,
okay, yeah.
But in
I
the
see what
sense
you're
of
saying.
like that's not a wrong thing, but like
Yeah.
in the sense like what is a decent human being to you?
Right, that's what I meant.
Right? Like
Like my form of decent
that's such a
human being.
subjective concept.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. People can always come to commonalities with subjectivity.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like you and I can agree that a decent human being can at least just be nice.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you go, oh, a decent human being has to be this, and I don't agree, well, I guess that's your definition of a decent human being.
Right.
We touched on this with friendship, right?
Well, yeah, definition of what a friend is to me compared to other people. Right. Yeah.
It's almost like requirements that need to be filled, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, and it's never, at least for me, because like time, I've been into like a time thing lately. Because like again, time is like, when did time start?
Time is a weird concept,
right?
Yeah.
It's just a way to determine when a velocity or it just determines velocity, right? That's all time is for.
Right.
The velocity of flight. So, you know what I mean? In that regard,
it's just genuinely saying like time allows you to track your position. That's it.
Exactly. It just helps us to determine 3-dimensional position.
Right.
Yeah. But in that realm of like absence of time, like anything, like what's going on? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In the now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's all we have. Yeah. There are these moments. We don't have a future. That doesn't exist. Right? Yeah. It does, but we'll never get there. You know what I mean? Because we're always in the present. We're always in the now.
Right. And
we'll never get to the past. Because same thing. You know, we were once there. We'll never be there again.
Right.
We come to this podcast every weekend. I sit in the same chair, or it doesn't matter.
One of us sits
we sit in the same position.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're not in the same place.
Right.
It's a different place. Mm-hmm. Because of time.
Yeah, you remember that movie Lucy? With Scarlett Johansson?
The one where she
unlocks, where they say you unlock 100% of your brain with that one chemical that comes out of birth.
Well, no, wasn't she was like a drug mule, right? Like they like put drugs in her body and then like the drugs broke in her body and then accessed or allowed her to access 100% of her brain capacity.
Right, because the drug itself was the chemical, which I did a little Googling. I don't remember the Googling, but like it was the chemical that allows like a single cell, the two cells, the sperm and the egg, to multiply at such a rate without destroying the body itself to become a baby in 9 months. Because usually speaking, right, like you can't get that much mass to just generate. I don't know. It's weird. Technically speaking, you can. If you look at fungus grows exponentially fast. And if you give it 9 months to just cultivate, it would be huge. Anyway, in the movie, she talks about time. Remember? And she was like, you take a car, travel down the road, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to say. When you that car, right, it moves infinitely fast and eventually just disappears.
Right.
And that's what you gotta kind of realize is like the beauty of it all is the fact that it is finite. Like if you gave everything infinite, range, like to live as long, do as much, go as fast as you want, and it wouldn't exist.
Well, that's the funny thing is everything's infinite. But it's infinitely finite.
Right.
Until it becomes finitely infinite.
And then we could do another whole time. We need to have a topic about just religion and just random concepts.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
Yeah, I should be down. I usually come down.
Oh yeah. Well, next time we talk.
Right.
Next time you hop on.
Yeah, they're like, I should be down next week.
But
I'll text you.
So I had to look at my phone because a friend of mine we were talking about this a little bit, and she was like, "Oh, what about does Thanksgiving emphasize the thanks for holidays?" And I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting little subject to this topic."
That is interesting
because it does, right? People, in a sense, do emphasize thanks in the holidays where they spend more money, or you know what I mean. Like they take all. It's not just lavishness. You know what I mean? It becomes like a thing of like. It's like a subconscious thanks, but it's like I'm allowed to be overly thankful by spending on myself. I'm thankful for myself, so I'm going to buy more drinks. At the bar. I'm going to go out more. I'm going to see my friends to go meet them at the bar.
It's plane ticket.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a terrible thing, but it's just funny that like we have to designate a certain time of the year to do that.
Right.
And it makes sense though, because like if you did that every day, you go broke for sure. Like
100%.
But at the same time, it's like again, why not just be thankful all the time? And like when you want to be super thankful, or you want to be like thankful to that level, then you do. Yeah. You don't have to choose a day to do it. I had like an example of this, and I forget what the holiday or something of it was. I think it was Thanksgiving. Well, like it was actually very recent. Like I said, I went to the beach, and it was like a retreat day for me, like a silent retreat.
Yeah.
And I was like, the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to have Thanksgiving? And I had the conversation with her too. And she pretty much brought it up, so credit to her on this one. But like, opened my eyes to that concept because like I am very thankful all the time.
Right.
But she was like, "Why?" She's like, "We don't have to be thankful just for Thanksgiving." I was like, "That's so true. We don't.
Right.
Like we shouldn't be. We should just be thankful. But we shouldn't have a holiday designate our thankfulness. You know what I mean?"
No, like in it, but like when you get the variety of people we know. You get to see it from both sides, right? Like some people don't use it as like an excuse to be thankful. They view it as like now I'm required to be thankful,
right?
And then that's where
it becomes very cynical,
right? Yeah, it becomes super cynical. But then also you get like the people like us that are just like,
genuinely,
they're just like
full-heartedly,
fuck yeah, I missed you guys,
100%,
right?
Yeah, you get, like you said, you get the people who are like, oh, gotta go see the family.
Right. You see it all
they
over
suck
the
their
internet.
teeth in and they're like gritting their, like, man, like, they're literally checking the time to be like, how long is this gonna last?
Right.
How long do I have to be thankful for?
I felt bad. I actually did dip pretty early on Thanksgiving because I was actually getting tired. I was just like, I'm ready to go home. But like that's all fine and dandy though, because at the end of the day, that is I tell you that's going to be the first. It's either this side note. I'm naming my first son Dandy or my first daughter Dandelion.
Has that been agreed upon? By
yes.
both
He just like I'm just vetoing everything up.
The doctor comes up to him and just whispers to him, "Hey, we discussed it." I can just imagine this conversation. Then why are you listening to her, dude? Don't worry about it. But on the birth certificate, put Dandy.
Like what if
you get a girl, you gotta name her with something with a K so she can be the real KP.
No.
Dandelion, that's cool. I like that.
Okay, so
it's funny.
What?
Well, dandelions are weeds.
Yeah.
But dude, do you remember? Wait, am I thinking of the right thing? Are dandelions those cotton clouds?
Yeah, they're weeds. Yeah.
I know they're weeds, but were they the cotton ones you blew?
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are awesome.
Yeah.
Because they are this thing that people despise because they have such a negative connotation.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, they grow everywhere. That's all a weed is, right? Yeah. There's no negative or positive. It's just they just try and like
they're just weed.
Yeah. Honestly, that's
they're
how
just
it goes.
weed.
In the realm of grass, nature,
right? Yeah.
They just try to conquer, and this is their nature. Yeah. But at the same time, like we pluck them, we blow them, and we turn them into things that are beautiful. As like, make a wish. Here's a dandelion. Right. Blow off the cotton, make the wish.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like there's so much beauty in the ugly, and vice versa. There's so much ugly in the beauty.
Right.
And if you see what you want to see, in the sense of like,
if you want to see the good, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not to say like there isn't bad and to ignore the bad.
Right.
But it's to say to be to the point where you accept both and make a good, clean, clear judgment on how you want to see this person.
And that's kind of like what makes, in my opinion, what makes the holidays beautiful to me is because it's actually one of the few times because like you said, you don't have to be thankful. It doesn't need to be Thanksgiving to be thankful.
And you don't have to say thanks all the time to be thankful.
Exactly.
You do it through action. You do it through intention. Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, Kendall, I'm so thankful.
Right.
Every 10 minutes.
But what makes
I'm very thankful. Oh my God. Yeah, thank you.
Also, respect. But But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I love about the holidays is that it's one time where like everybody kind of goes ahead and says yes, 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 but isn't it kind of nice? You know, isn't it a nice little happy thing? Come on, you don't want to go see your nana, you know, cooking up a cranberry pie or whatever. Like in that energy, you know, it makes it easier for everybody to kind of go like, oh yeah, like I love these people.
So if you bring that aura too, you know what I mean? Like
if you naturally have that aura though, but some people don't.
Yeah, but you know the beauty of it is like if you do just carry that around you, you know that bubbly aura of just thankful, whatever you're trying to portray. If you really are like intentional about it, you know people start to break out of their like cynicism of whatever thankfulness. No, if you just like the term killing them with kindness, it really is a true thing, right? How can you be mad at someone who's just so kind to you?
Right. Like like how can you be mad at someone who genuinely just wants?
They deal that concept with a lot of TV shows, right? The hero, or like it doesn't have to be a hero, but there's always one character who's just like probably regardless, just always kind, always loving.
Actually, no, like Billy from Billy and Mandy.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The lovable idiot. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, how can you hate that guy?
You can't.
You know what I mean? You really can't.
You know, actually, in this comic book I read, and we could like end it here. It was so funny.
Oh, is this the Billy and Mandy comic?
No. Oh yeah, sort of. The one where Mandy marries the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
It was great because of like Billy when he died. Technically, he was so stupid. He had done nothing wrong his whole life, but he was just so annoying. They sent him to hell.
Yeah.
That was the only problem. And even then, he's regarded as one of the most terrible, like, scariest people on the planet because he's indestructible now that he's dead, and he's equally.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but I get what you're saying.
I know, yeah, but yeah, that was a very good. I felt like this was a very good wholesome episode that we had. I'm so and like I just said earlier, like I don't have to say be thankful for, but I am. I'm thankful for the people I'm around. I'm thankful for the people who are around me, who love me, and who I get to see on it. Not even on daily basis, but I just get to see.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm thankful for my people too. You know, everybody around me is like always just been like, hey, we're here for you, boy.
Yeah.
And that's all I need.
But you attract you attract what you grab. I mean, things that gravitate to you attract, right? That's how gravity works with a law of attraction.
Right.
So like if you attract good hearted people like we have in our group and the people that surround us, like there's nothing but thanks. And it's always just this cloud of thankfulness, regardless of like how much shit we could talk. You know what I mean? And there's times where we talk shit. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we cut that bullshit and we go, I am still very thankful for it. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I say that about you sometimes.
No, yeah.
Like when me and him gave you advice. You know, when we had that phase of advice giving. Right. We would literally go, man, dude. Oh, why didn't he do that? Or I'll start like this. I fucking love this guy to death, but he just why? No. But again, at the end of the day, I put it up at the front because I do love you genuinely, dude. Yeah. And I always end it with that too. Like I'm just so thankful that you are in my life. You, Vanille, everybody that is in my life, I'm so thankful for it. Even the people listening right now, thankful.
I mean, me too.
Yeah. Oh, of course. It goes without saying. It really does because it goes through action. Like, that's what karma is action, right? Wow. So, and we'll end it on this note, right? But karma is action. So if your action is always of the intention you want to portray, right? Pure, like for me, it's always purity in the sense of like, just, I don't want to come off as discreet, or I don't want you to think of anything like, oh, did he mean it this way? No, I want to be clear, concise, and I want you to know that genuinely I care, right?
And I love you, Steve.
But on that note, it was your boy Maui.
And boy Waffles.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Peace. This was Couch Surfing.
We forgot to say. If you don't know already, this is Couch Surfing.